Hello and welcome to another Star Citizen podcast. I am your lovely, gorgeous, bald egg/potato host, BoredGamer, and I'm here with the lovely, less egg and potato shaped Zinnia. Hello, Zin. Say hello.
Hello.
They are perfect. See, we don't need to have overly long intros when we don't need to. We're going to be talking about Star Citizen now for 3.23 that's now live. We're going to be talking about Chris Roberts saying that limited dynamic server meshing is coming this year. What are you talking? Chris, don't say things like this. 3.23.1 is also now on the PTU almost immediately. We've got the Sabre Firebird, and we've got Fleet Week coming later this week. So Zin, how are you doing?
I'm all right, mate. Thanks for asking.
No worries at all. I'm also okay. My stomach is made of cramp at the moment, unfortunately. I know you had a tiring weekend because we've decided that anytime you have time off, terrible things happen.
Yes.
But you're not allowed to have time off anymore. Let's just go with that. So, 3.23, that's now live. I've been playing it. I've been enjoying it. Lots of very playable features. They wiped Alpha UEC, but didn't wipe ship support with Alpha UEC.
But did they wipe ship rentals?
They wiped ship rentals.
Okay.
They wiped Alpha UEC. They wiped your character and all that, and your home location and any consumables and pretty much everything except for things bought with real money and Alpha UEC bought ships. So components and equipment, some of that was kept as well. Some people lost a few of their ships that they bought with Alpha UEC and stuff, but overall most of that stuff was kept, and that's made a lot of people happy. Obviously, some people have forced themselves to reset their accounts and get rid of that stuff because they wanted to start from the beginning, which is fine. CIG are sort of testing the new economy stuff in 3.23, big changes for pricing, and if people do reset everything, great, because that gives them better testing data. But there's still a lot of bugs in, lots and lots of bugs.
I mean, it's Star Citizen.
It is, but it's also an initial release of a new big patch.
Yeah.
There's hotfixes incoming. 3.23.1 is already on the PTU. It was almost instantly came out on the PTU. So lots of people are complaining about some bugs and stuff, and rightfully so about the bugs. I mean, talk about the bugs, try and get them fixed. And I'm having a great time though. I played for a few hours. I haven't had much in the way of problems. So the main thing is the servers are sometimes a bit laggy, and buying and selling can not work properly. Sometimes accessing your inventory cannot work properly. Quite often it does work, but if servers go down to quite low tick rates, then stuff gets a bit weird and AI are a bit janky and that sort of stuff, and laggy and teleporty. Conversely, I've seen servers with tick rates of up to 60 now, which...
Ooh!
Yeah, I'd never seen anything above 25 before, but consistently between 50 and 60. Obviously, it still sometimes goes down to 5 to 10, but there is a problem with tick rates of 50 to 60 in. Can you guess what it is?
No.
The AI, the NPCs are very good when the tick rates are very high. And I'm not prepared for AI working as a group, lots of incoming fire, getting shot a lot, getting shot very accurately, consistently from AI.
It's because you're bad at games.
Well, I am bad at games, but obviously it's just a sudden they've shot me. They've shot me a lot. I was not prepared. CIG are looking for a consistent 30 ticks, but maybe they're going to be saying, actually, we want consistent 60 if they can get it. So yeah, really liking the new patch. I think the biggest complaint about 3.23 at the moment is master mode stuff. So obviously we've tested out master modes a bit, right?
Yes.
And you're, enjoying it, the direction of it? What was your sort of thoughts on master modes that when you last played?
I don't... Yeah, I like it. I don't really have a problem with it. But I'm not much of a dogfighter, really. Yeah, that's sort of fair. So master modes is sort of... Almost all of it is people complaining about combat and master modes. So it's master modes and a host of other changes to gunnery and combat and all that sort of stuff. Now, a lot of people really hate the direction of master modes and where they're going with this. Some people are sort of neutral on it. Some people love it. And that's what's going on at the moment. People are talking in the forums a lot this is the worst thing ever. Star Citizen's now terrible because of master modes. Some people are like, no, actually, I quite like it. The thing is, it needs to cook. There is depth of gameplay that has been lost with the change to master modes, because they're basically going, and we're overhauling the whole system, but this is the basics of the new system,
and they need to add depth to it. They need people to talk about what they like and don't like about it. So I want people to get involved with the conversation, but get involved with the conversation rather than get involved in going, no, this is the worst thing ever, change it back. That's not useful. Say what you like about it, say what you don't like about it. I doubt it's just a whitewashed of you love it or whitewash you hate it. But I did see a statement of it turns Muppets to masters, which is why people like it. If you're bad at Star Citizen or not a great pilot, it makes you feel like you're a badass, or it makes you feel like you're a lot better. And I want that at the lower level, though. You played Titanfall 2, right?
Yeah.
You feel like a badass in that Titan when you're running around, even if you're terrible.
Yeah.
And I sort of want that for flight. I want to be able to be reasonably good in my ship, even if I'm not great, and you need that for Squadron 42 as well. I just think you also need an incredibly high skill ceiling, and you need a lot more of depth into the current model. So how do you think people should articulate what they like or don't like about master modes? Do you think they should just be getting really involved with it? Do you think it's fine for people to be like, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to Star Citizen, master modes are terrible, or do you think that's an unfair statement?
It's better to say something than nothing.
Okay.
So even if you just come along and go, I don't like this, I preferred it before, fair enough. But any sort of criticism, comparison, anything like that you can give is obviously going to help the developers, because they might be able to focus on the things that aren't working. I mean, they probably have an idea of what's not working, but you know. Yeah. The thing is, so I don't do a lot of dogfighting. I can't really comment on it much. The only sort of fighting I do is against AI. And to be fair, I've not noticed a difference in difficulty. Like, I don't think it's easier. I don't think it's harder.
So that's us playing an arena commander.
No, so, this is doing bounty missions on the.
So what I will say, there is a bit of a problem with the current patch, and everything feels incredibly tanky. So they have changed some of the numbers for ships and stuff, and they've changed it with other mechanics that are coming in the future in mind. However, it does appear that with some of the server problems and some of the bugs in game, lots of hits or lots of kill shots on damage to ships isn't finishing them off, isn't actually damaging them, and things like that. So ships are twice, if not 3 times as tanky as they should be at the moment.
Okay.
So bear that in mind in the current patch. Obviously, we haven't played much you haven't played any of 3.23 live yet because you've had the weekend off.
Yeah, no. But the only stuff I've experienced is obviously what was in the PTU.
Yeah. And that's fair.
But I've not done any, like, PvP, and I don't know how the master mode is affecting that, so I can't really comment on it.
Well, it's dumbed down all forms of PvP at the moment because it hasn't got the depth that it needs yet.
The thing is, people keep saying that, but like as I said, I can't see what that depth is. What depth was there? Why is it no longer there?
Okay, so it's stuff like being able to maneuver appropriately and actually aim your shots and do clever combat maneuvers. That sort of stuff has been ironed out because you don't have the same movement values. Everything's a lot slower.
Because they fixed the tricording?
They changed it. Yeah, but yes. Yeah, so they made it so you can't tricord anymore. So tricording is a big problem when you're fighting against a big ship, because you can just go, I'm going to stay out of the big ship's range and kill it. So it doesn't make multi-crew ships viable. But so they had to change that 100%. But yes, you're right. They've effectively fixed it. The problem is that there's a load of extra stuff that needs to come into master modes and balance for it, and all of the gunnery and all the new systems, and the physical components and the actual damaging of components and slowing the ships down, like with the experimental engineering mode being brought into the game, and a ton of other stuff to make this where CIG want it to be. And I'm willing to let it cook. I think the direction is actually the right direction, personally. You do not have to agree with me. You do not have to agree with Zin. I don't have a huge experience with PvP either, but I've got a little bit. Zin obviously doesn't particularly enjoy PvP much, unless she's fully aware that she's going into it as part of something. So we're not the best poised to talk about all these things with master modes, but people that are trying them, give your feedback. Talk about it. Be concise, be non-aggressive, and tell CIG what you genuinely think, and try and give as much data and much information as you can. CIG will hopefully push it into a direction that is good, but I think that the direction of master modes at the moment is one that I'm willing to follow. Okay, Sin, if it turned out that this was terrible and they tried to do some stuff and it was bad and loads of people said it was bad, do you think they should change it hugely again, overhaul it again, or reverse it, or what do you think? What would be viable, reasonable things that they could do?
I don't know. I mean, maybe reverse it, or revert it back to how it was.
That's a dangerous thing, right? With Squadron 42 looming, when they release that, really they need a finalised model, and I don't know. It's the major concern I have with Star Citizen. It's getting its combat and flight model done in a way that is good, but I genuinely believe that master modes could be that, and I'm interested to know what other people's thoughts on that are. Chris Roberts, we saw a little clip from him. I made you watch it.
He's alive.
He's alive. Proof of life. So this little clip from Beacon. Chris Roberts basically said that limited dynamic server meshing was coming this year. I'm not sure if he meant that. I'm not sure if he just meant static server meshing, but
I think as a general rule, don't listen to anything Chris Roberts says. He's probably put his foot in it.
No, he's very optimistic and he knows what he wants and what the targets are, right? But just because they're a target for the company or him going, oh yeah, we can get that done, doesn't necessarily mean that that's viable when it actually comes down to it and timings and stuff like that. So, Chris, Blue Sky's thinking optimist, visionary, but not necessarily the man that's getting the stuff into your hands. So, he basically just said, oh, it's kind of ready for being dynamic right now. It just needs a program to deal with like spinning up and down and nesting the servers. So I think he actually just meant, well, we're going to have static server meshing, but we might be looking at working on dynamic server meshing at the same time.
I think one of the best things you can do when watching that clip that you linked me, that I'm assuming you're going to link below or something.
I will.
Just watch Disco's face, and that gives you an idea of whether what Chris is saying is true or not.
Oh man, yeah, it's he's like, oh no, I've got to deal with this. I have to deal with what you say, Chris. You don't realise
that's what he gets paid for, really.
It is, yeah, that's fair. But yes, so static server meshing, we're expecting Alpha 4.0 to be the next major patch. Basically, CIG said that in the patch notes for 3.23. 4.0 next patch, Pyro next patch. Static server meshing should be part of that, and looking forward to that later this year. We did also say that Alpha 3.23.1 is on the PTU. This has in it all that Fleet Week stuff. The Polaris is apparently flying around with the UE Navy in the PTU. I couldn't find it. I saw other people post some pictures and a little tiny clips of it, but I could not find that fleet flying around. We'll potentially look for it later today or this week. It also had the Retaliator Gold Standard and its new modules. That's awesome to see. Something that might upset you probably didn't even realise you could do, Zin, is that you could actually turn your skin bright blue, green or red
no.
to have Marvel characters. So people were doing that in the character creator, and CIG have gone, unfortunately, no more silly colours for skins.
No.
So sorry, super fans. No more Eiffel 65 in the PU with today's build. Eiffel 65, is that Blue Man Group or something? I'm blue.
I'm blue, dabba dee, dabba die. Don't do any more. We might get striked.
Oh, yeah. Because it was so accurate.
So accurate.
Yeah. But yes, you can't do that anymore, even though we hadn't even done it. Some other stuff in the patch. The Raven has now been brought up to gold standard, so the Sabre Raven. That's interesting because it's a promo ship. We'll talk about that in a second. And there's tons of fixes, less in the way of desyncing NPCs, stuff like that, because that's one of the major issues in 3.23 at the moment. Lag, desync, teleporting NPCs. But it only happens sometimes, and it's mostly when the servers are overly burdened. I think it's a constant problem with Star Citizen until they get that netcode and server meshing in. Yeah, we're playing some 3.20, 3.1, 3.23. So you look forward to that, Sin. Did you expect that 3.23 was actually going to release last weekend? Or were you like... this? Actually, I think you were pretty accurate. I think you said it was probably going to.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what I said. But you were like, oh, it's going to release this put... And I was like, nah.
Yeah, it's fair. You're slightly less optimistic than I am, but normally pretty realistic on those patch times and dates. And CIG had said that they wanted to get it out as soon as possible because they wanted more people to test it for bug fixing and to get it ready for Fleet Week and to get their hands on master modes, because a lot of people hadn't tried master modes, even though it had been in the experimental modes and stuff like that. And CIG need people to try that, love it or hate it. A lot of people, as well, say with the master modes, don't like change. That's one of the other thing, which is a fair comment. Lots of people don't like change, especially when it's sort of forced upon them. But I do think it's worth giving master modes a go. Sabre Firebird's in.
Yeah.
So I thought this was originally going to be Sabre Phoenix.
Yes.
Obviously, we have the Constellation Phoenix already. Sometimes CIG don't care about a naming convention like that, and they've had like multiple things like the Avenger Titan, and there's going to be Titan suits.
Yeah.
There's lots of like similarly named ships or ships with the names that you're like, oh, haven't we already got that? So I thought, yeah, maybe it's going to be a Sabre Raven Phoenix or Sabre Phoenix. It looks like it's the Firebird. I've seen from a data leak that the word Firebird is used. You see the emotes fire and a bird that looks like a bit like a phoenix next to each other in a little teaser. You go Phoenix, clearly a clear phonics, but no, it is the Sabre Firebird, and it basically appears to be a variant of the Sabre Raven. So people think this is just a way of selling the Raven, because potentially like the contract that Intel and CIG had has now lapsed effectively with the Optane drives and the Primo, and there's like this perfectly good ship that's very stealthy and very cool that CIG can now sell. So when you think of Firebird, how do you think this is going to differ from the Raven? So Raven is a smaller cut down version of the Sabre. So Sabre, medium fighter, Raven, a bit more like a light fighter, and it's very stealthy. It's got EMPs instead of missiles. It's supposed to have this really good data collection and sort of interception computer on it as well. Yeah, it's just sort of like, how do you think the Firebird's going to differ from that? Or do you think it's actually going to be exactly the same, just in a different skin?
Maybe. I don't know.
Do you think we should get a light stealth fighter? Do you think that's a potentially a thing?
I don't know. I mean, so this I'm just looking at the pledge store for the Sabre. So the Sabre is a stealth fighter.
Yeah, that's
literally what it says its focus is.
For me, whatever it says on the ship matrix, I would define the Sabre as a stealthy, but not built just for stealth, space superiority fighter. It's like a high-tech, stealthy space superiority fighter, because it can sort of... it is meant for dogfighting.
Yeah, okay, whatever you think, that's fine. On the store page, it says Sabre Stealth Fighter. And then we've got the Sabre Comet, which is a medium fighter. Okay,
just a different loadout, but yeah.
Yeah. And then obviously you've got the Sabre Raven, which is interdiction. What else is there that the Firebird could be? If, like, that's pretty much everything covered already.
So it could be a more light stealth fighter. It could be just a different loadout from the Raven. I think thinking about it, it's probably just going to be the Raven with a different loadout. And then just say, actually, it's a light stealth fighter or something like that. Or
yeah.
So Raven, potentially stealthy, clever. That suits what the Raven's role is. Firebird sounds like it's got a load of firepower. Sounds like it's got a fucking flamethrower. I don't know. Maybe it's got a more powerful EMP or interdiction device on it. It's it's really hard to tell. Or maybe it's a spoofer or something. Tell us what you think in the comments down below, because yeah, it could just be a Raven with a different loadout. In fact, that's probably the thing it's going to be. But and do you think CIG should be basically selling the Raven, even though it was a promo ship, in a different package, or do you think, well, that's just fine, doesn't matter?
I think it has been around long enough.
Okay.
That it's probably okay for them to just go, it's done now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the Raven's still obviously got the promo Raven, but this is going to be slightly different. You'll be able to buy these in game more easily and stuff like that. Because are you going to be able to buy the Raven in game with Alpha UBC eventually? Well, even if it's off players, I suppose. Yes. Interested to see what they do with some of the promo ships and stuff like that, because obviously there's only a couple really. There's the Raven, and then there's the Mustang Mustang Omega.
Yeah, and then there's also, we don't know what agreements they have with these companies.
Yeah, with Intel and AMD and stuff. Yeah.
It might be once the game goes to live, it'll no longer be a promo ship.
Yeah, that's also true. But that's what people think with this. They think the contract with Intel's lapsed, so they can actually sell the Raven in a different package now. We'll see. See what happens to that. I'm actually quite excited for that. We do know there's some other stuff coming for Fleet Week as well, because we're assuming that the Firebird's coming for Fleet Week. Got the medical Ursa, which if you want ones in, I will get you a medical Ursa. I know you like your medical gameplay.
Oh, I want my... Is it Atlas? Apollo.
What's the Atlas? The Atlas sound...
The Atlas
is there an Atlas? Star Citizen.
Isn't it a platform? I don't know.
It's the platform for the... Yeah, you're right. It's the platform for the Ballista and
yes.
The Spartan. Thank you. I was like, what are we talking about? Yes, it's exactly what it is. My brain melted then. Oh, well remembered, Sin. What's the first star system that was discovered by humanity other than the Sol systems in? Is it the Croshaw system?
It's the Croshaw system.
Good memory, Sin. Good memory. So yes, so Medical Ursa. There's a tractor cargo version of the MPUV, which almost certainly will win the
Ship Showdown?
The Ship Showdown, thank you. Oh my god, I've literally lost my mind. Very much appreciated. And Sabre Firebird, and probably some other stuff going to be turning up as well. And we do know that there's obviously going to be a free fly, and there's an Idris tour this time. We've got the Polaris flyby. So Polaris is part of the military fleet this time, but does not appear to have an interior. But if you want to go and fight it, you can. Although you will be fighting the whole of the UE fleet. And there's also the Expo at Area 18, which is an interesting choice, because I'd say Area 18 is potentially the worst looking of the cities at the moment.
I think it's pretty, but yeah, I don't think it's had an update like any of the others have.
Yeah, it's not awful looking by any means, and it's impressive tech to have a full city planet.
Well, actually, I say that. Only Lorville's really been updated. Orison and New Babbage are quite new.
Yeah, they're relatively new. They look good anyway. I'm very much looking forward to Fleet Week. It starts on the 17th, so later this week on Friday, and we'll be covering it every time that there's a major change, which is every couple of days, basically, looking at the ships that are on sale and what's going on in the expo hall. Are you excited for Fleet Week, Sin? Yeah? No? Nothing you want to...
I like... I'm kind of hoping they still have the Bengal. Doesn't look like they're going to have the Bengal.
The Bengal not flying around. Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I see what you mean. Like, I'm not sure if they're doing the Javelin tours either.
No, didn't they say they're having an un-thingied Javelin tour?
No, it's the Idris tour doesn't have character actors in it like the Javelin tour did.
Are you sure? I'm sure I've read. Maybe I'm reading it wrong.
That's what it is. I am excited for the Idris tour. What they say, being able to walk around the interior of the Idris is what I should call it, and seeing the Polaris. And there might be some other ships and vehicles that turn up as well. But yeah, I'm fine with people getting into the Master Modes debate. If you want to talk about that, please do. I do want more depth to come to their systems, and I'm sure that it will. CIG have even said, look, it's not in the best place at the moment. We know that. We're working on it. This is the first iteration of the new mode, and we need your help getting it to where we want to get it. Let's try and help CIG do that by giving them concise, reasonable feedback about that. I mean, even if you do genuinely hate it and you're like, this is the wrong direction, you can talk about that and try and pen it down in an appropriate manner. And if you're going like, well, actually, it's going to be an evolution of Master Modes that we eventually get, help them try and make it good, because I don't see why people would say this is just bad, because I genuinely think you can make this really good. And I'm not upset with the direction. I just need the depth that was there before and then more. Anything else you want us to talk about, Sin? I talked a lot this time.
You always do.
Oh.
That's your job.
It is my job. Thank you. That's appreciated.
That's what we pay you for.
That is what you pay me? Oh.
No.
I suppose you do watch some of the videos.
Sometimes. I watch my videos.
And hopefully people are enjoying Zin's lore. If you've got any specific things you want us to look at lore-wise, you can chuck them in the down below as suggestions as well. If you've got anything, questions that you want to ask about 3.23, 3.23.1, Fleet Week, anything like that, chuck them in the comments below and tell us what you think of Master Modes and the direction they're going and what you would do to make it better. Ha! Thanks for watching. Something NordVPN, nordvpn.com/BoredGamer. If you got NordVPNs in, don't ask that question. You should get it if you don't. And
Okay.
and if you've got eyes, I know you probably do. You should maybe have a look at getting a Tobii eye tracker. Oh, wait, Sin, you already have one.
I do.
Yeah, perfect. That's on sale, Tobii eye tracker, for 15% off until the 20th of May. Check the links down below to help support the channel with NordVPN stuff and with Tobii eye tracker and loads of the other stuff. Say goodbye, Zin.
Goodbye, Zin.
Thanks for listening. Sorry I rabbited on about master modes, but May in Star Citizen is about fleets and Fleet Week and flying with friends, and we've partnered up with Lunar Wolves, a Star Citizen org, to give away a fleet of ships. Commenting on any of my videos during the month not only gets you a chance to win a Spirit C1, but also a Constellation Andromeda, a Vanguard Sentinel, and a Corsair, courtesy of Lunar Wolves. They'll each be going out to a different winner chosen randomly from the video comments. But wait, there is more. Sign up to the Lunar Wolves recruitment page, link down below, for a chance for even more ships, including an RSI Polaris with lifetime insurance and a Hornet F7C Mark II. Winners of those will be selected randomly from eligible org signups. Lunar Wolves welcome all that share their passion for adventure and love of Star Citizen. You can learn more about them on their org page or at lunarwolves.org. If you would like to further support our channel, please like, subscribe, comment, share these videos. And if you'd like to go the extra mile, and I would love you to, please consider becoming a Patreon or clicking that join button under my videos. It goes a huge way in allowing us to make daily content and keep the channel going. You'll get some exclusive content from that as well. Only time Zin and I can actually put it out, as well as help evolve the channel with polls and suggestions and that sort of stuff. Thank you so much for watching to the end, and have a great May. It's going to be a good one.